Right now, from 115th and Ridgeland to past the 83rd Street toll plaza with a crash on the left side that had been blocking the left lane. We're seeing delays on the inbound Kennedy starting around Canfield. Your trip time is 27 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 15 from Montrose, 10 in the express lanes. Eisenhower running 36 minutes, 390 to downtown, 23 from Wolf. Stevenson, 33 minutes, 355 to the drive. The Ryan is 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Fort, little heavy starting at Cottage Grove. It's 15 minutes, 8094 to the Verge. Northbound Lakeshore Drive has delays from the Stevenson to Roosevelt. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Clouds and sunshine, high 79 today. 57 at O'Hare. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business powered by Mirabali Insurance. Sunday evenings at 6 on AM 560, The Answer.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy and the left, the D.C. press corps. I repeat myself in their latest moral panic over a coming Trump dictatorship per the president's response to this inquiry yesterday.
Win, lose, or draw in this election, will you commit here today for a peaceful transferal of power after the election? And there has been rioting in Louisville. There's been rioting in many cities across this country, red and your so-called red and blue states. Will you commit to making sure that there is a peaceful transferal of power after the election?
Well, we're going to have to see what happens. You know that I've been complaining very strongly about the ballots, and the ballots are a disaster.
I understand that, but people are rioting. Do you commit to making sure that there's a peaceful transferal of power?
We want to get rid of the ballots, and we'll have a very peaceful. There won't be a transfer, frankly. There'll be a continuation. The ballots are out of control. You know it. And you know who knows it better than anybody else? The Democrats know it better than anybody else. Go ahead.
Oh, heavens.
Oh, my gosh.
Here we go again. President Trump is not committing to a peaceful transfer of power. That means he is going to install himself as a dictator for life. And we don't like that, says the left, except as it pertains to shutting down the economy and abolishing First Amendment rights. That's where we want him to be a dictator. But we don't want him to be a dictator in terms of staying in office. This is, of course, what beset the press over the last 24 hours against the backdrop of the protesting and some rioting, per 2 Louisville police officers being shot in reaction to the decision on the Breonna Taylor case. For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by Erin Perrine. She is Trump Campaign Director of Press Communications. Erin, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
So can you tamp down the fear of a Trump lifetime dictatorship?
Yeah. The president is not going to be a dictator. He absolutely believes in the Constitution here in the country. And that reporter is actually not a reporter. He's a gotcha kind of guy in the D.C. quote-unquote press corps. He thinks that he's setting the president up there. And listen, there isn't going to be a transfer of power because President Trump's going to win. But this is what the media does. They try to sow chaos into America. They want you to believe that somehow President Trump is abandoning the Constitution, is abandoning America so that he can stay in office. It's like when he jokes around about saying, 4, 8, 12 more years, because that drives the media nuts. The president believes in the peaceful transfer of power. It's the media who is trying to sow chaos, not only into the election, but into the election results. They're going to want the American people not to believe that President Trump's going to win this thing.
Well, who was the reporter? Because he's got to work for some publication in order to get in the room, right?
He's a freelance reporter. My understanding from looking at who it looks like it was Brian Karam, who generally works for Playboy.
Oh, yeah, sure. We're
that's
familiar with this work.
news.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you know, we've gone through this before. I know there's no institutional memory in the D.C. press corps, but both Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, complained about things that were going on in 2016 in advance of the election, and were sort of coy about whether or not they'll accept the results. And we've had the same thing going on here between accusations from the Stacey Abramses of the world and many others that there's a voter suppression going on, to Hillary Clinton saying Joe Biden shouldn't concede no matter what the vote totals are. I mean, this is just gamesmanship going on both sides, isn't it?
Well, it certainly is on the Democrat side. And listen, I mean, if you ask Stacey Abrams, she's the make-believe governor of Georgia still.
Yes.
She refused to concede her race. She refused to say that she had lost and that Brian Kemp had won and is now the sitting governor. It must be really awkward at the end of the day when Stacey tries to show up to the governor's mansion every day and say, like, you don't work here, ma'am.
But she tried so hard to get that VP slot. I mean, she was working it, huh? Whew.
She really, I mean, she's a political animal, right? She wants to be able to, like, get into that fight and have those moments, but she got outflanked by Kamala Harris on it. And you look at what they're doing here, and Democrats, again, their partners in the media are trying to sow doubt into this election. Like, oh, you don't want to believe what you'll see on election night, which will be a victory for Donald Trump. So don't concede, don't concede, don't concede. Listen, Hillary Clinton should do what she is good at. She should just sit quietly at her house in New York and show Joe Biden what it actually looks like to concede to President Trump, because that's the only thing Hillary Clinton knows how to do. She certainly doesn't know how to beat the man in an election.
Since you invoked Harris, she of the Harris-Biden ticket, she was in Detroit the other day, and in conversations with Wayne State students and others, she said, we need to get past this old way of thinking, this fail thinking that more police equals more safety. We need to reimagine how we serve communities that are with majority minority neighborhoods and so forth, and that means spending more money on education and investment and so on and so forth. But again, this idea that reimagining policing will be a federal imperative in a Harris-Biden administration, against the backdrop of, again, what happened last night with 2 police officers in Louisville shot.
So, I mean, this is Democrats trying to be cute with language, right? They're trying to be like, oh, we're not going to defund the police. We're going to reimagine the police. This isn't Willy Wonka we're talking about here. There are 2 officers in Louisville who were shot last night in the line of duty trying to protect the very people who were on the street, only to try and be murdered, let alone those 2 officers the other week in L.A., one of them shot in the head. I mean, it's unbelievable what you're seeing time and again is this violence ramped up against police. Let's look at the facts here. There is no such thing as reimagining police. Democrats are just trying to be cute. They're trying to take away police funding, trying to cut police across the country. I mean, look at Minneapolis, Minnesota. They cut the police funding. Violence is going up there, and they're saying, well, why are we unsafe? Well, because you're taking officers off the streets. 90 to 95% of police funding goes to paying officers, making sure that they can go out and do their jobs. And so when you reimagine policing, I don't understand why Democrats think you have to take money from the police to do the other things. Why do the 2 have to be married together? We need to stand with the brave men and women of law enforcement, and President Trump proudly does.
And so what's President Trump's game plan from now into election?
Well, unlike Joe Biden, you will see the president out crisscrossing the country. I'm in Dubuque, Iowa right now on behalf of the campaign. I'm heading to Georgia tomorrow for the campaign. But the president's going to be everywhere. He's going to be out there fighting day after day to talk directly to the American people, because we all know you can't trust what the media is going to say here. You can't trust it because they're going to try and lie to the American people about President Trump, about what he's accomplished, and about really what the results of the election are. So he's going to bypass the media filter. He's going to continue to do it, talk to the American people, and our entire campaign will be out crisscrossing the country, crisscrossing states, talking to supporters, getting them revved up. We've got 40 days to Election Day. That's not a lot of time left, but we'll be out there fighting hard.
Well, what's his debate prep regimen like over the next several days in the run-up to Tuesday's first debate?
Yeah, he is prepping. He is doing a little bit of that. But listen, being president of the United States is the best debate prep you can have. Every day he's doing the work of the American people and standing up and making the tough calls and seeing what that actually looks like. I mean, he gave a speech at the UN this week. He's out campaigning. He's out, putting forward bold policies. He's doing the work for the American people that needs to be done. That's the best debate prep. I mean, Joe Biden apparently has now said that he is going to be doing his debate prep now. I mean, listen, we fully anticipate Joe Biden to show up for the debate. He's been debating for 47 years. He had, vanquished a dozen plus other Democrats to win the nomination. The president's going to take this seriously. And you know what? Joe Biden's got a lot of questions he's not getting asked on the campaign trail that he needs to answer. Like, why do you want to keep fracking around to get rid of it? Why do you want to raise taxes over $4 trillion? Why do you lie to the American people about that? It's going to be a strong debate, but the president's ready.
Are we done with any last-minute machinations in terms of negotiations between the two camps, including with Fox News? And there's no last-minute effort to change the format or include something that wasn't already agreed to. That sort of detail going down. I mean, I just asked this because you had this bizarre interview that Joe Biden gave to Telemundo this week, where he seemed to be reading answers from a teleprompter in an interview with a reporter, because he said, I lost that line when he was talking about his policy of a first 100-day moratorium on deportation. That was just bizarre, and there was no satisfactory explanation to it.
Well, yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Joe Biden's campaign, in any interview, has not been able to say unequivocally that he doesn't use a teleprompter for interviews. Listen, it's not an easy conversation to have, but there needs to be a conversation about the fact that Joe Biden's not throwing his fastball anymore. He's just, I mean, he's clearly not the same guy he was when he was in the Senate in the 90s trying to pass the crime bill that so directly hit Black Americans in the United States. So, I mean, we get that. But, you know, he's not going to be able to have a teleprompter, and the debate is set, the rules are set, the topics are set, and so the president's getting ready.
All right. What's the first debate? What's the premise of the first debate, the topic of it?
They've got a few topics. They're going to be talking coronavirus. They're going to be talking, the rioting you see in the streets, the economy. And so those are just some of the topics. Those are the top three they're going to be talking about when it comes to the debate on Tuesday.
And the schedule between now and Tuesday for President Trump, it's still full bore, rallies and so forth?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, the president's not slowing down for anything. I bet you if he could do the debate and a rally on the same night, he would.
Yeah, he's got that much energy.
Erin Perrine, Trump Campaign Director of Press Communications, thanks so much for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks. And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Fifth Season Financial is a licensed lender, not available in all states. Visit fifthseasonfinancial.com for details.
Linda was suffering from stage 4 lung cancer.
I was dealing with the treatment, but we were running out of options.
The Mountain Financial